Array is a linear data structures. So we learn about array as an example of linear data structures, and also what is an array, how array is created, and what are the features of array, what are the operations we can perform with arrays, and what are the applications of arrays, advantages of arrays, disadvantages of arrays, and types of arrays. So that is we learn, but now we are learning array as a case study or as an example of linear data structure. So let me define what is an array means. So array is a collection of homogeneous elements with the unique name, and all the elements are stored in adjacent memory location. So homogeneous elements means they are of similar type. So you can define in other way. Already we know last academic, array is a collection of element where each element is of same type and sharing common name. That's what I said, unique name. So this academic, just we modified, that is what is an array means. Array is a homogeneous collection of elements with a unique name, and all the elements are stored in adjacent memory location. So that is what we called as arrays. And also we have studied last year, since all the elements of an array having unique name, in other words, all elements will be identified by same name. To distinguish each element of an array, we use a number like subscript, A0, A1, A2, A3. So subscript, the same thing, that's the definition. What is subscript? Subscript is a number which is used to identify the elements of an array, or used to distinguish the elements within an array, used to access the elements from an array. So that is what we call as a subscript. So subscript, like we write A of 0, square bracket, A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3. So even though we have a common name, but each elements are distinguished with the subscript 0, 1, 2, 3. So that is what the subscript, that is the need of subscript. So now, depending on the subscripts, we have different types of arrays. So the types of arrays means, first one, we have one-dimension array, then we have a two-dimension array, we have a multi-dimensional array. So what is one-dimension array? All these things already we have discussed last academic. So let us take example now one-dimension array. So what is a one-dimension array? What we have learned in the last academic. So an array having only one subscript is called one-dimensional array. So here let me define what is one-dimensional array means. An array having only one row or column, that is called one-dimensional array. So it's a collection of finite n number of elements of same type, such that all the elements are stored in consecutive memory locations, and each element are referred by, or each element can be referred by indexing. That is what we called as a one-dimension array. So normally one dimension, same thing, what we do, this is only one subscript we used to access. That's what I define now. So we have a finite n number of elements. For example, 20, 100, 1000, like this. Finite n number of elements of same type. And these each elements are stored in consecutive memory location, and you can refer them by indexing. But maybe in only row, or maybe in the form of column, or in the form of row. That is what we called as a one-dimensional array. So similarly, we have a two-dimensional array, we learn, and then we have a multi-dimensional array. So now, how do you define? How do you declare? Already we know that. How do you declare an array means? We have a data type, array name, we have a size. The size defines the number of elements that can be stored in an array. So in definition I said n number, the same n here becomes the size of an array. So that's how you can store. If you define 10 means 10 elements can be stored in that array. If you declare 100, so 100 elements can be stored. That is 100 consecutive memory location is blocked, and it is identified by array name, and data type defines all the elements are of this type. So suppose if you give example int a of square bracket 10, then it defines we have a 10 memory location which is identified by a, and all this 10 memory location can have only integer type of values. So this is about one dimension array. Let us learn the features of one dimension array. So what are the features of an array means? So array, the array size always positive number only. So whenever we declare the size of an array, example you remember, data type array name size, that size should be positive number only. So maybe 20, 100, 10,000. You cannot write -10, -5 something. So it should be positive number because we have those number of memory location. 20 means 20 memory location. Then when you have a string arrays are terminated with null character. We use a /0, which is to identify the end of the string. We call it as a null character. Then the elements of array are counted from 0 to n minus 1. So we do not start with 1. Instead what we do means we take the first element and it is referred by 0, not by 1. That is 0 to n minus 1. Array elements are referred from 0 to n minus 1. So it's useful for multiple reading of elements. You want to store many elements under a single name and you want to read or you want to store, then this is useful. So whenever we have to deal with number of elements of same type, multiple elements of same type, then this is best useful. Or you can use this type of array, could be better data structure to solve. That's why useful for multiple reading of data or elements. So this is the features of one dimension array. So in exams they may ask sometimes mention the features of arrays. The size of array always positive number. String arrays are terminated with null character. Array elements are counted from 0 to n minus 1. Useful for multiple reading of elements. So these are the features. So now how do you calculate the length or size of an array? So array is a collection of element, homogeneous, or it's a collection of elements of same type and they are stored in consecutive memory location. So the size of an array, n or L, the length of an array can be calculated using the formula. We use the formula L equals UB minus LB plus 1. So here UB represents upper bound, LB represents lower bound plus 1. So that is the length or size of an array. If take an example of we have an array of some elements like this 20, 30, 40, some elements 60 of same type. You can see that we have so all elements 0, 1, 2, 3. So what is LB means? It is the smallest index, that is lower bound. What is UB means? The highest index, that is upper bound. So what is the length of this array means? Array A. If it is an array A, we are identified. Then the length of array A will be UB minus LB plus 1. So what is UB? You can say here it is 3. Okay. Substitute 3. What is LB? It is 0 plus 1. 3 minus 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So length of array or size of an array is 4. Thus you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So array has 4 elements. This is how we are going to calculate length of array. So that's something about calculating the length of one dimension arrays. So now let us think of representation of one dimension array. Already I have told arrays are stored in consecutive memory locations, one after the other. We have a sequence of similar type of elements and they are organized, they are stored one after the other like this. So let us assume, suppose we want to find the element at some point P, where it is stored. How do you get the address of some element? To do this, let A be an array with UB and LB as a upper bound and lower bound, and then we can calculate address of any element, like address of A of pth element. The position of element will be calculated as, we use the formula base of A, that is called base address. Then we use a plus W is the number of word per memory, W, then P minus lower bound. This is how the compiler used to generate its address. If you are looking for the particular element like A of 2, so I want to know where A of 2 is present. To calculate its address, we have to use the base address. What is the base address means? Is the elements of first address. Let us assume it is at 1000, this is 1001, this is 1002, for example, it is 1003. I took one word per memory. When you take integer, it's 2 bytes. Let us try to understand. So here what happens? Base address is 1000 plus W is 1 word per memory, and then we have P is what you are looking for, 2 minus lower bound is 0. Simplify this, 1000 plus, you can write here 1000 plus 1 into 2 minus 0 is 2. So we end up with 1000 plus 2, it is 1002. So location of A of 2 will be at 1002. You can see there, if you want to find the location of A of pth element, we have to use base address plus W into P minus lower bound. So base address, let us take an example, the first element address which is stored at 1000, and then we are looking the element that is A of 2. So where A of 2 is present, you can see here A of 2 is at 1000 to 1002. Let us do, we use this formula, base address plus W, here W represents number of word per memory, P is the element, the address of element you are looking for, and then LB represents lower bound. By substituting the values 1000 plus 1, 2 minus 0, 0 is the lower bound. So it is calculated 1. Location of A of ith element will be, that is P, position of A of pth element is at 1002. So this is the calculating, that's how we represent one dimension array. We have understood how the size of an array is calculated and how these elements are represented. This is how one dimension array is represented. So next we learn what are the operations we can perform with arrays. That is, what are the operations? Already we have discussed. It's a linear array means. So first one, traversing. The second one, searching. Then sorting, insertion, deletion, merging. We learn all this one by one. So next, let us start with the traversing. So what is traversing means? Traversing is a process of visiting each element exactly once, starting from first subscript to the last subscript. That is same thing. I told about traversing. Traversing is the process of visiting each elements of an array from beginning to end. That is from first element to the last element. That is from 0 to n minus 1 if n is the size of an array. Then we have searching. So there are two methods. Searching is the process of identifying particular element in an array. For example, 40 is present or not. That will write algorithm. We learn all in detail one by one. The next is inserting, adding new element into an array. Then deletion, deleting an existing element from an array. Then sorting, arranging these elements in particular order, either ascending or descending. That's we'll learn. And also merging. So this academic, we are not doing merging operation algorithms. All remaining, traversing, then searching, two-method linear and binary search, and then we have a One more is called insertion algorithm, deletion algorithm, sorting. All algorithms we learn with arrays, and also we write programs. I think you have understood what is a one-dimension array and what are its features and what are the operations which can be performed. How do you calculate the length of the array? So next class we'll start with the program traversing algorithm, then we'll write programs. We learn all the operation one by one. So next class, prepare for the notes, get ready with the definitions. Whatever I've explained, all are important. For example, what is data structures, types of data structures, operations on what is primitive data structures, operations on primitive data structure, then non-primitive data structures, types of non-primitive data structure, linear data structure, non-linear data structure. Example for linear data structure, what is linear data structure, what is non-linear data structures, and then arrays. What are arrays? Definition of an array, what is subscript, and then what is one-dimension array, and then what are the operations performed with arrays, and how do you find the length of array, how do you represent elements of an array, and also how do you calculate the particular element of an array, and then we discussed about the features of arrays. So we'll continue next.